Why, hello there. And welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, where we have forgotten to turn the UI back on. We are in... I don't actually know where we're in, but we're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. You're in for a long way down. Urianger, you are surrounded by urchins, mates. I'm just going to leave you there and not talk to you, because that will get me killed. There are a lot of fish around. A lot of fish. Fish that can weirdly survive with there being air here. I must remember the northeast. Well, there's not a whole lot to the northeast, so it's got to be over here somewhere. Down here? No. Over here. Aha! Aha! Don't you dare! Don't, aha! Aha ha ha ha! 301 yards to the south. As it happens, we are going south. That was very posh. I don't know why. Just how I roll. Right, who is around here? It's Alize again. Oh. Cutscene. Time for a magnificent introduction to an underwater city. Is it Rapture?
By the gods.
It's Rapture, isn't it? And it's been taken over. It actually is Rapture. Wow. I don't know what I was expecting, but this wasn't it.
When the Ondo spoke of a city, I did not think they meant an actual city.
That's how words work, Alphino. I wasn't expecting skyscrapers, admittedly. Jeez.
Then we are seeing the same view.
You can see it as well.
The remnants in the Ondo settlement were solid material structures. But these... Everything here pulses with ether. 'Tis an enchantment on a monumental scale.
Sounds almost slightly scared. Or just in awe. I want more screenshots. I may have been too late. Well. I don't want to mess with the map. If you'll excuse me for one moment. That, folks, is a view. It looks like a noir New York. Jeez, what's everybody got to say? I want to know. When the chieftain spoke of light shining from the abyss, this is not at all what I imagined. Why would Emet-Selch do this? Emet-Selch holds the Exarch captive somewhere within the vast city. Yet even if we must search every alleyway, we will find them. You think all those tall, dark buildings would be frightening, but for some reason they just make me feel sad. It's big, I'll grant you, but cluttered city streets are far more conducive to infiltration than wide open spaces. This will work to our advantage. Trust me. One cannot blame the Ondo for fleeing the spectacle of these brooding edifices. We, however, have not the luxury of fear. Yeah, very, very much a kind of Rapture cityscape feel. But it's so impressive. And obviously, it's a backdrop Yeah, we're not going to be able to explore the whole thing. It's going to be all off here. But dear Lord, that's impressive. Demajen, did you notice the style of the architecture? It's the same used for the remnants of the cups and the mule's painted towers. I did, yes. Look closely. Emet-Selch has not simply reclaimed these ruins, he has layered the semblance of an entire city upon them. Magnitude. Ah! Oh, so the entire city isn't here. Emet-Selch has covered it with an illusion so that it appears as what he has lost. So there are some buildings here, but the stuff in the background is simply a facade. The magnitude of this artifice is staggering, though it pains me to admit we did not fully understand the feats of which an old-world Ascian is capable. Now, how to get there? It's intimidating, yes, but we have to start somewhere. Why don't we have a closer look at the tower to the southeast? We might be able to reach it from the edge of the trench. Yeah, so we get to go and have a look down. Because, of course, all we're seeing here is the view from a distance. Yeah, so it's... I think we're going to get to go down there. Possibly as part of an instance. And the XP bar off since we have no longer any use for it. There are trees down there. There's a garden. This tower here, we're going to be able to go on. But the stuff right in the background there is, and you can just about tell this, it is a parallax scrolling effect. It is a painted backdrop. They're not going to have rendered out all these buildings. The glitchiness of the lights there is a little bit sad. Akora Heights. Kind of want to try. Nope. Can't throw yourself off the building. Imposing door. It is imposing indeed. I think we might actually get to go down there in a non-instance fashion. Because there is a good chunk of... Oh, there's an aetheryte down there. We're going to get to explore the city. Awesome. And that means we'll be able to fly around it. Though in what state it will be once we've actually unlocked the ability to fly. Look at the size of those doors. Now I know how pixies must feel. Demajen Blackthorn recognized. Welcome to the city of Amarok. So this is Emmett's home. Will you be riding the lift? Did the building just welcome you? Mayhap it is not so passing strange. Did Emet-Selch not invite Demajen to visit his abode? It's true, he did. It is plain thy coming was expected. And where will this lift be taking us? The lift services every level of Akora Heights, but is presently configured to convey passengers directly to the ground floor. Well, there you have it. In the absence of some few hundred yards of rope, we have little choice but to accept the offer. With emphasis on the we, I'm not about to let you walk into that place alone. Open up! I wish to ride the lift. As you wish. The lift will arrive shortly. Wham. Down we go. It's not so much a garden as it is kind of ivy all over the place. Next up, ground floor. Facilities include the Bureau of the Administrator, the Bureau of the Architect, and the Capital... Capital what? Or just the Capital? There is an ether right over there. Can't believe how tall everything is. Yep. Seems peaceful enough, he said, tempting fate. Each of these towers seems a veritable city in itself. Even the Gigas would feel inadequate in such surroundings. But I saw something. If mine eyes do not deceive, we stand in some manner of communal square. Yes, there's a fountain and everything. I'm really quite in awe of this. I did not expect an Asian city to be something that we would be exploring in this expansion. It's only at this distance that you start to realise just how big the buildings truly are. What did that voice call the city? Amarot? Look! Over there! A glowy figure. Is that a person? Oh no, my mistake. That's a giant. Doesn't seem to have noticed us yet. Ghosts of the Asians? Giants or no, a visit to this place may have much more to tell us. I say we make the first move. Alphino, you can't just... Oh. Is that where the Asian masks come from? Hi there. Hey, excuse my boldness, but might I ask you a few questions? Does it have the ability to converse? So it speaks in the same language that the Asians do, which we've always had in the black boxes. Oh, what adorable costumes. Are you children on an excursion? This district has much to teach you. How odd. That sounded like no language I've ever heard, and yet I understood every word, because of course Minfilia had the ability to do that. Just as he understood us. Ahem. And which district is this exactly? You must be lost, poor things. You stand in the Olilirite district, wherein lies the institution that's most vital to the management of our star. So it's the administration district. Can you tell us where to find Emmett Selk? I don't think anybody rules the city. The 14. You've come to marvel at the workings of the Convocation of 14. Hardly surprising, I suppose. The whole world holds its breath as the final days draw near, and our brightest minds race to implement their plans. Thus, you must understand that gaining an audience at this time will be next to impossible. You should hurry home now before your families begin to worry. Do you need me to walk you back? No. Thank you. No, thank you. We will be fine. So we are literally children to this thing. Very well. Take care, little ones. So that is kind of like a shade of a memory of the city? What was that all about? So I'm speculating here that in the days before the Sundering, the Asians foresaw it coming and they tried to put plans in motion to stop it and obviously failed. To my eyes, these people appear as arcane entities. I suspect M itself wove them from ether much as he reconstructed the rest of the city. The final days. Such words well befit the oblivion described to us by our Ascian foe. A catastrophe of unprecedented scale which just set in motion the summoning of Zodiac. Ah, so it was before even yeah. So it was the final days of the world before Zodiac was summoned, so those are the plans. Thence Heidelin herself. But that happened centuries and centuries ago, didn't it? That man spoke as if they were rushing to divert a disaster. Try that again. That man spoke as if they were rushing to avert a disaster here and now. Unless, for these people, the distant past is the here and now. I believe thou hast the right of it, Master Alphino. This ethereal Amarot and its residents appear to be phantoms of a different age. Emetselk hath resurrected a memory, a moment in time from before the star was sundered. Somebody just said that. So, we find ourselves in a long-destroyed city inhabited by the long-departed. An unusual situation, to be sure, but at least we're able to parley with these ancients. In fact, they seem downright eager to chat. I say we use this to our advantage, split up, strike up some conversations, and see if we can't learn the location of our quarry. And while we're at it, it wouldn't hurt to wheedle out a few more details regarding this Convocation of 14 and their impending disaster. More Ascian info. To mingling, then. Let's meet back here when our jaws start aching. Cool. Time to explore a city from 12,000 years ago. Hi, friends. You discover a new location. The Polylerite District. An anxious Amoritine. Good gracious, child, where is your family? You should not be alone at a time like this. Run along home, quickly now. Have you not heard? Though yet confined to the lands across the sea, a terrible phenomenon afflicts our star. They are calling it the final days. It is said it starts suddenly, a cacophonous keening from beneath the earth. The sound distorts all living things within earshot and wrests from us control of our creation magics. Once that happens, all is lost. Fear, pain, despair, every dread impulse is siphoned from our minds and given substance. An eternal fall of fiery rain, an incessant spawning of nightmarish beasts. None can point to the source of this phenomenon. It is as if the star itself has fallen ill, as if a force inimical to life now festers and spreads. It is only a matter of time until Amarot too resounds to that discordant squall. You should stay with your loved ones, child. Stay with them. So something was destroying the planet from within. A parasite. A creature of death that summons nightmares. So maybe the Ascians have been deceived. That Zodiac was indeed the infection, and that by calling to it they have dredged it forth from the earth, saving their planet but enslaving them to it in the process. And therefore the planet has survived. And therefore maybe Heidelin was summoned because people realised that a mistake had been made and that they had been tricked, that they had been deceived. I'm going to go and unlock this aetheryte very quickly. Right. Pragmatic Amotine. An audience with Emmett Selk? I'm afraid you had the wrong office, little one. Besides, he will be far too busy to field the questions of curious children. Surely you've been told of the looming catastrophe? Every resource available to the Convocation must be spent upon ensuring our world survives. They have yet to make an official announcement, but it is said the 14 are moving forward with a plan of scarce credible proportions, one which promises to grant will to the very star itself. They will invoke our mightiest spells of creation to birth an entity of all-encompassing magnificence, and then they will rewrite the laws of existence. It is a huge undertaking, and it must be completed ere the corruption spreads this far. Thus I say to you again, do not hold out hope for an audience. So it seems like they deal with concepts and ideas as tangible things. As you might expect from an almost science fiction-esque futuristic society. When the material can be created at a whim, it is the ideas that take us forwards. If you can create anything that is only your imagination that is the limiter. It would seem the hall is host to a most precocious visitor this day. And what, pray tell, shall be the subject of our discussion, young one? The Convocation and their handling of the coming peril. It is only natural that you should have questions. Shall we begin with the members themselves? As all know, the 14 are the wisest and most present among us. They are the stewards of order, responsible for decisions which keep this star turning season after season. Be it the Speaker, La Hebrea, or the Emissary, Elidibus, each seat is occupied by an elected sage of surpassing intellect. Logriff, Mitron, Emmett Selk, their individual titles have, as a gesture of respect and a matter of tradition, become synonymous with their incumbents. Thus it is with great incredulity that I greet this recent rumour that a seat in the Convocation is soon to be left vacant. If proven true, it would be an unprecedented development and testament to the immense pressure under which our saviours are toiling. In any event, I for one am confident they shall deliver our star until salvation. So one of the 14 Asians is leaving their post. The question is, which one? Also, is that the first time we've heard of Mitron? Logriff has been mentioned before, but I don't know about Mitron. Demajen! If I was not certain before, oops, darn, then I was now. I cannot imagine what purpose compelled Emmett Selk to recreate this ancient amulet. And yet, I fancy I hear his words to us echoing throughout this ocean trench. He would have his story known. And I think that is entirely the point. You know, we are discovering ancient history for a reason. 3 ether current quests. How many? 3 out of 4. We've still got 1 ether current that we haven't seen either. Ah, he's got the other one. We can compare notes once the others return. Hopefully then our next move will become clear. Give me voice acting. Damn it. It would seem our conversations were much alike. A looming disaster, creation magics running rampant, and this convocation's efforts to bring salvation out of chaos. I suppose there was talk of little else in the time when these events came to pass. Urianger, if I may, what are your thoughts on the ancients' art of creation? A fascinating discipline indeed. What the mind can conceive may be rendered in reality. All that is required is a clear concept upon which to focus one's will. It is not dissimilar to the primal rites taught by the Assyrians, wherein ritual ceremony breatheth life into figments of myth and legend. I see we arrived at the same conclusion then. So all of the primals that have been summoned by the beast tribes after the teachings of the Assyrians, it's finally nailing down for us the way it works. The people who lived in the age before the Sundering were blessed with vast reserves of mana. No matter how draining these creation magics must be, it seemed they paid the cost with not more than a fraction of the ether which coursed through their own bodies. If we were to attempt the same, such spells would soon deplete our energies, and then seek to draw the balance from elsewhere, from a hoard of crystals mayhap, or from the very land itself. Thus, when this art of creation was placed into our hands, it became, in effect, a means for destruction. An interesting matter which no doubt bears further study. But despite all these revelations, I worry we are no closer to finding MSQ. Has anyone learned aught which might lead us to his location? Not directly, mayhap, but from what we've heard, it seems the Convocation of 14 is sequestered in the nearby Capitol building. When we went to see for ourselves, the attendant wouldn't let us through without a writ of permission. So we tried our luck at the Bureau of the Administrator, where we thought these permissions might be issued. But the clerk there said he couldn't help us since our names didn't appear in the registry. And that was where we gave up. I wonder though, Demajen, could you be eligible for one of these writs? It would be an interesting revelation and kind of the weird kind of rampant speculation that I've done over a few episodes ago is that, you know, we are a hero that is being rejoined in the process of the rejoining of worlds. Wouldn't it be interesting if our first name was the same as one of the Assyrians from 12,000 years ago, and that we were a hero reincarnate? The voice in the lift seemed to know who you were. It might be that your name is registered at the bureaus as well. Worth a look, I'd say. Or that MSQ has, arranged for it. Meanwhile, I'll head back to the capital and search for a less official point of entry, just in case. Pray allow me to accompany thee on thy reconnaissance. An arcane perspective may prove needful. I think I'd like to speak with more of these ancients. Maybe they know something that could help cure Demajen's condition. Do you mind coming with me? Of course I don't mind. Just lead the way. I like the fact that Reen is the one constantly thinking about our well-being. And Ishtola and I will busy ourselves with further exploration. There is surely more intelligence to be had. So we part ways once more. This time, however, let us reconvene in front of the capital. And what are we going to do? Oh yes, we did have a task, didn't we? I had almost forgotten. And by almost, I mean I had forgotten. Lightning cluster. I must say, little one, those garments you're wearing, they are your own original concepts, I take it. Clearly they must be, given their rather singular flamboyance. I would never dream of stifling a fledgling creator's creativity, but to parade about in your cultivated individuality is hardly praiseworthy. An Aroatine of character shares their creations with your community. They do not hoard them for their use alone. To delight in disparity is a mark of the morally deficient. Disparity engenders feelings of want and resentment, which degrade the bonds of fellowship. Thus do we encourage creators to share and share alike, else we risk kindling the embers of covetousness and violence that ever smoulder in the hearts of all. Therefore I must implore you, little one, to cast aside your original trappings and don the communal robes. that you might acquit yourselves as an equal among many. In so doing, you will be afforded greater respect and autonomy. Worry not, for this will be a simple affair. I recall seeing a gentle soul outside the Hall of Rhetoric carrying robes perfectly suited for one of your diminutive stature. I am sure they will be glad to share their wealth with you. But do hurry, little one. The eyes of the collective are ever watching and weighing your worth. Interesting. So, the reason why they all look the same, and I suppose the reason why all Asians wear the same robes, is because it develops a sense of community as opposed to individuality. Oh ho, aren't we looking rather smart this day? What can I do for you, little one? I'm after some clothes. Robes to serve in lieu of your ensemble? Ah, how prudent. Alas, I have nothing I can offer you at this present time. The ones your associates saw me carrying earlier were a failed experiment. I never intended to make them so small, so I disposed of them shortly thereafter. A failed experiment? By your bemused expression, I gather you find it odd that your elders can fail in so simple an application of creation magics. It is more common than you may realize, little one. In this instance, a gaggle of children was passing by as I held the image of the robes in my mind's eye. Simply by becoming aware of their presence was the form influenced, and the final product changed. All things considered, it could have been worse. Just the other day, I was attempting to conceive a white-haired lion, when all of a sudden this exquisite eagle alighted on the nearby railing, giving me quite the shock, dramatically altering my initial concept. A griffin. Yes, indeed. It was a most unexpected development, but not an altogether unwelcome one. Great strides are often born from unexpected impetuses. But even inspiration has its limits. For all the wonders we have wrought, I do wonder if there will come a time when we have fully explored the potential of our powers, when there is truly nothing left unmade, and only iteration and imitation and stagnation remain. But such esoteric matters need not concern you, little one. For now, I would encourage you to embrace your creativity and work your magics without fear of failure. Nevertheless, it would still be in your best interest to don the appropriate robes to avoid unnecessary scrutiny. Why don't you go to the Bureau of the Architect and request the appropriate concept so you can fashion one yourself? Okay. I'm playing these all out in full just because I'm fascinated by the culture, and obviously it's that kind of stuff, the story elements that I imagine people are most interested in seeing my reaction to and hearing my thoughts on. Battle of Wits, oh dear. Greetings, little one. Come to debate, and at so young an age, how wonderful. Shall we retire to the benches and settle on a topic? Oh, my apologies for jumping to conclusions. My friends are not quite as fond of the Hall of Rhetoric as I am, so I have a habit of chatting up any potential conversation partners. So, if you are not here to debate, I presume you are here to learn about the mysterious and esoteric goings-on here. It would be my pleasure to act as your tutor in these matters, if you will indulge me. The Hall of Rhetoric is, as its name indicates, a place where citizens may freely gather to discuss and debate all manner of topics. This central forum is ideal for open discourse, but smaller rooms are available for those desiring more intimate conversation. Oh, and there is a wealth of reading material considering rhetorical techniques and history penned by the greatest minds on offer as well, should you wish to refine your techniques through self-study. To my mind, however, rhetoric is a living, breathing thing that is best experienced in the moment of conception and execution. Perhaps a demonstration will best serve to further your education. I saw a contemporary of mine engaged in a lively debate earlier, just outside the hall. Go and see if they're still there, and issue to them my personal invitation to a friendly battle of wits. Okay. Amoritine Firebrand. But that is precisely my point, that their obsession with this so-called mandate to approve only the most beneficial concepts for wider distribution, never mind the ridiculous subjectivity of their criteria, has led the Bureau of the Architect to astray from its original purpose. Not porpoise. Huh? Have you business with me, child? Regardless, I'm in the middle of a heated discussion with my partner. Come back later. No. My position has nothing to do with the intrinsic value of a unique identity and whether or not it is retained. Rather, I posit that the reproductions of a given concept are inherently imperfect. Thus, they are themselves unique, albeit minor but significant degrees. And, most importantly, this variance is not to be condemned, but celebrated. Better that than to strive in vain for an impossible standard that, even if met, could leave us lesser for the lack of diversity. The Amoritines appear to be engrossed in their debate, utterly deaf to you and your pleas for attention. Aren't you a stubborn little bugger? Strangely endearing, I must admit. But do we have all the time in the world? Why are you so insistent that I speak with you this very instant? Ah, you are acquainted with that chatterbox. I suppose I do owe them a debate or two, and now is as good an occasion as any. So be it. Interesting that they believe they have all the time in the world. We have all the time in the world. I see you found my friend. Thank you, little one. Then without further ado, let us commence the promised debates. As to the matter of which subject we shall debate today, I propose the recent calamity which has befallen our friends across the pond. What say you? The singular point of contention is, of course, whether or not Amarot should intervene on their behalf. I believe we should. The scale of the disaster which threatens that distant metropolis is of a scale hitherto unseen, and so equally considerable resources must be committed to counteracting its effects. No. I disagree. The scale concerns me less than the nature of the proposition itself. Who are we to unilaterally intervene in the affairs of those half a world away? Are we to be the saviours of one and all? Such arrogance may well lead to our own downfall. And it does. While I understand your concerns from a philosophical standpoint, I fear you are too quick to dismiss practical considerations out of a desire to maintain an unassailable moral authority. But let us, you and I, hold here for the present and offer the floor to our young students. You have heard our opening salvos in this debate concerning the fate of our neighbours across the sea. What is your opinion on the matter? Who said that? We're parroting somebody from earlier. Was Alphano? Indeed. The same can be said regardless of one's opinion on the morality of intervention. There is a clear and undeniable benefit to Amarot in using this situation as a test bed for our newest creations, that we might develop and refine our defences against a potential threat to our own fair city. How readily you cede the moral high ground. Was not our young friend's point that we have an ethical obligation to aid those in need? Yet not only do you instead elect to focus on the benefit to Amarot alone, but you also deprive our distant neighbours of the agency to determine their own fates. You misunderstand me. What benefits Amarot benefits all creation. I firmly believe the knowledge and wisdom we stand to gain from intervention can then be shared with others, empowering everyone to more effectively surmount similar trials in the future. So they are a society of debaters, of people who are concerned with ethics and morality and intellect and creation. And of course, all we know about the Ascians is that they are seeders of chaos. I must say, it has been far too long since I engaged in such a refreshing exchange of ideas. My colleague was equally delighted by the opportunity, you may be assured. Some decries it as little more than an academic exercise. After all, we failed to reach a meaningful consensus. But I dare say they missed the forest for the trees. Are we not more enlightened by the experience? Have we not been exposed to a greater variety of viewpoints? Is there not value in this alone? I truly believe we are blessed to be part of a society that exalts the free exchange of ideas and that encourages active participation in the public discourse. This may have been no more than your first foray into the exciting world of rhetoric, but I sense you have the soul of a debater in you. You may well have the potential to change Amarot in ways no one ever thought possible. I shall be watching your trajectory with great interest, my young friend. Interesting that these are level 70 quests. I wonder if it's worth actually swapping out to a level 70 character. Job, rather, for this. It probably is. What else have I got at 70? Samurai, Summoner, Red Mage, Scholar. Because otherwise it's wasted XP. And I do not like wasting XP. Right, Concept Clerk. Welcome to the Bureau of the Architect, little one. Are you here to request a concept for personal use? If so, what sort of concept did you have in mind? A tiny pair of set of clothing. Ah, communal robes. That will take but a moment to prepare, but before I fill your request, I should caution you. Pardon me for asking, but your creative potential is, relatively low, is it not? We are trained to assess these things, and I fear you do not possess the ability to express this concept in physical form. It's almost as though you completely lack it, though that can't possibly be. But, regardless of the reason, you needn't worry. We have special tools that may be used to address this very eventuality. I will furnish you with an etheric rope you can use to restrain one of the misbegotten cubers that congregate in the plaza north of the Academia Anidir. You'll need to weaken your quarry before you can reliably bind them, but once you have, you can repurpose their energies to create your own robes. Okay. I actually haven't set up this character, and therefore I can't even summon a fairy yet. Oh, it's quest sync, that's why. The bureau attendant seems to be regarding you like a lost young child. Yes. Greetings and welcome to the Bureau of the Architect. Are you in need of assistance? It would be my pleasure to answer any questions you might have. To your left is the counter where you may submit registration for new creations. To the right you will find the counter where you may requisition concept on file. Huh. Am I correct in assuming you are not familiar with the services we provide? I see. A more detailed explanation is in order then. You understand that by harnessing the powers of creation, we can give physical form to all manner of concepts, yes? Yes. Picture a bouquet of fresh, fragrant flowers, all the colours of the rainbow. Now, picture those self-same flowers formed of delicate crystal, impossibly fragile and radiating hues beyond the visual spectrum. Every day our people push the boundaries of imagination to conceive new and striking designs like these. But there are limits to what a single individual can shape with their abilities alone. Those who harbour greater ambitions might offer their concepts to others here, that they might, with the strength of many, accomplish what one cannot. Not all concepts are approved for wider distribution, of course. Dangerous, subversive creations pose a threat to everyone. And so, it is only after a comprehensive evaluation, after a concept is judged to further the greater good, that we permit it to be shared with the community. Do you understand, little one? Yes. Since you are here, I think you might benefit from conversing with some of the others currently availing themselves of our services. Why don't you go and speak with some of the citizens awaiting for their registrations to be processed? Much as I would like to believe my explanation was more than sufficient, I expect that you may gain greater insight in this way. I like that the quests responsible for giving us ether currents, you know, the ones that we are definitely going to want to do, are also the ones tied into helping us understand the world of the Ascians pre-Sundering. Hello, hello, little one. So rare is it to see one of your size roaming about here. Come to learn about the Bureau, are we? I'm here today to register a new creature, boneless, and with semi-translucent skin. It drifts through the air like a dancer on a summer breeze, its tentacles trailing behind. It utilizes gas bladders to propel itself from place to place, you see. I admit, it's not the most elegant of design. I'd not shed a tear if it were rejected, quite frankly. But what can I say? I take pleasure in conceiving unorthodox designs. A beginner like you shouldn't take after me, though. If you're looking to pick up a few tips, you should probably ask someone else. Ah, is that my number they just called? If you'll excuse me. There are a number of jellyfish-like creatures. Little squid things in Lenosia for a start. I've forgotten what they're called. You the child I saw speaking with the attendant earlier? I thought so. So young and already so eager to learn about concepts and creations. That curiosity will serve you well, little one. I've been credited with a few popular concepts, I'm proud to say. I'm hoping that my latest will be equally well received. Autonomous figures. I say my latest, but really it's the product of many others' efforts and individual insights. Such is the case for every masterwork, I reckon. Autonomy notwithstanding, these creations know no fear. They are wholly devoid of emotion and will without hesitation or resistance engage in any dangerous activity, even if death is assured. There's a beauty in that, I think, and I hope the officials do so as well. I tell you, there is nothing more nerve-wracking and thrilling than the waiting period before you receive the results. I love it and hate it in equal measure. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about it. If you're still keen to learn more, why not pester that worrywart over yonder? Come to think of it, I think their particular creation was designed to appeal to children. You there! An aspiring creator come to learn about the Bureau and its inner workings, I trust. That's all well and good. But since you're here, perhaps you can help me with a little something. I've been refining a concept of mine for some time now. Adorable little creatures designed to be the perfect plaything for any young citizen. But I'm still terribly unsure if it's ready to be submitted for approval. Which is why I was hoping you might first put it through its paces and tell me what you think. Your honest opinion? I'll have no flattery from you, young lady. This matrix will allow you to summon the creatures, but don't use it here. Take it outside first, and don't be afraid to play rough. It's all part of the fun. Ooh. I haven't done any combat as a scholar. So this will be interesting. Also, where's my fairy? There you are. Oh, do I have to use it in a certain place? Yes, I do. These quests are considerably longer than I expected. And therefore, so shall this video be. Concept Matrix. Oh. Can I use this current class? What? Can I not use... Oh, I can only use bio as a scholar now. Oh, I think they've just changed the IDs. This may have been a terrible idea. Right, let's... I mean, I'm not taking any real damage because, of course, I've got a fairy to heal me. It's really weird, though. If I'd known there was going to be fighting... Ah, souped. Yeah, the fact that I've got no hit bar for my fairy anymore is weird. Still. So, things that they were creating were goos. I'm not entirely sure that goo should be a thing to pursue. But there's a new version of that. Oh, yeah, I need to find... oh, well, I've already done that. But variability on my bar. How did you find my lovelies? Were they as delightful and engaging as I hoped? Tell me everything. Spare no details. Sorry, I'm kind of stuck between your ropes. I say, they spouted nonsensical phrases and attacked you like mad beasts. How distressing and not at all like what I intended. My sincerest apologies to you, little one, for the unpleasant experience. Still, from these experiences do we grow stronger and wiser. I look forward to the day when you will try your hand at creation too. Preferably with better results. Okay. Onwards. Of course, I've taken off the XP bar now. This way? Community cohesion. Use the etheric rope on a weakened cubus. Guess we'll have to continue the main scenario quest in the next episode. You are not a cube. Interesting that Ruin 2 and Broil are now the same MP cost. Also, this is doing... Ow! I say. Oh, it's level 79. I took the quest on the level 70 on my level 80 character. I was going to say, why is it doing so much damage? Let's swap back over to Dark Knight for this. There we go. It's like, this is going to be a long fight otherwise. I am a Muppet. Are you weakened? No, not weakened enough. Gotcha. So if I swap back over to Scholar... will it let me hand the quest in, I wonder? Because that would be quite interesting, actually. Because then you could do all the quests on your well-equipped job and then hand them in on the lesser job. If that is a possibility. Let's see. Welcome back, little one. Did you succeed in binding a cubus? I did. I have it here. You have done well, little one. Allow me to siphon its energies and prepare the matrix for you. It should only take a moment. Here you are. A creation matrix that you may use to generate your own robes. Thanks. The concept is inscribed upon the crystal which has been infused with the ether of the beast you brought me. What? Why are you looking at me though you do not know how to channel the powers of creation? It is as natural as breathing. Even a newborn babe has the instinct. Even if your potential is lacking as one of our people, you must surely know what to do. So we can complete the quest. Interesting. The greater purpose, though, is still a level 80 quest. Either way, that should be all but one of the ether current quests. There's still areas of the city that we haven't yet to explore. And I am almost certain now that one of them is going to be a dungeon. We're going to go into an Ascian dungeon in search of MSQ. And we may even get to do it in the next episode. Because that is almost an hour. Took us a little bit longer than I expected to do those quests. But again, I've always been fascinated by, as a writer, I've always been fascinated by world building. So knowing more about the precursors, the Ascians, is something that is of great interest to me. And their ability to harness the powers of creation and imagination is obviously a very cool concept. And yet they are still somehow not arrogant and level-headed at being part of a communal society. Is that what upsets the balance and sunders things? That rift between them. It'll be interesting to see if we find out more in the next step about what happened to these people after. What leads to the creation or the summoning of Hydaelyn. If MSQ's version of events is true. Fingers crossed we'll find out a bit more of that next time. Until then, thank you for watching and cheerio.
Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button and subscribe. Remember to ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, toodle pip.